Hello and welcome along to the start of another season from this FM19 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. It's season 6, episode 1, and as you can see, we've just about clung on at Barnsley, and we go into this new season with fresh optimism, plenty of new signings, and a few surprises too. But firstly, as I said yesterday when we started season 6 in our other series part of the furniture, a massive thank you to anyone who's been following along. I really do appreciate it and thank you for your continued support. And if you are new to the channel, then subscribe for daily FM19 content. But we're all focused on the new season. We've got a pretty tricky start away to West Brom, one of the sides expected to be right up there this year. We're not, on the other hand, so it could be tricky. Now their manager's Daniel Stendel, and I'm pretty sure that's the guy who's in charge of Barnsley at the moment. It is, in real life it's him in charge of Barnsley, but we've got a lot of transfers to talk about today. It's largely optimistic, there's one absolutely massive surprise in there, but there's still one big hole in the squad which Dougie Freedman hasn't filled, and he's got another 5 days to do it yet. We'll then of course introduce our 2 new tactics, as with a completely different squad look this year, we've had to adapt. That's one of the beauties of this series. You can't just say this is my formation and I'm sticking to it. As for example, last year we were playing the narrow diamond, and this year we don't have any number 10s. So they're the sort of things that change, and hopefully we'll be successful in adapting our formation and tactics to meet the transfers we've brought in. But firstly, we want to know what's happened with the job, obviously. It was quite simple, really. We went down through insecure at the end of the season, as we didn't get to mid-table because we hadn't read our job offer properly. And then when we came back for our 5-year progress report a couple of days ago, we'd actually moved into very insecure. And we were a bit worried about our job. The Luton job had come up, my beloved Luton town, and I thought, what if I need to apply for that? But that didn't need to be the case, because as soon as the season clicked over, we just went back to stable, and in fact we were just over 50% because we were looking after our wage bill well. So it doesn't seem like we're going to have any problems early on, it's just going to be judging us on our performance this season. But if we go and look at the transfers, there's so much news in here. Dougie's been really busy. We had another clause that went for another 2.5 million after the last episode, so there was plenty of money to be spent, and you can see with the one hole we've got in the squad, there's still 7.5 million plus 25 grand a week. The gap we have is the position we're trying to sign a young player in at the moment, Patrick Hamilton from Cork City. This isn't Dougie Freedman, it's our head of youth development, and for 500 grand, there are other clubs in competition, but this could be the answer. What a player Hamilton looks, an under-21 international for the Republic of Ireland, and how he hasn't been snapped up yet, I do not know. Fingers crossed he'll join us, and we'll certainly give him plenty of opportunities. Pace from midfield is something I love to see. But let's talk about the ones that are already here. Plenty of important news. You can see Dougie's loaning hundreds of players out, but we want to look at the transfer history. We've spent £6.5 million, we've overloaded one position of the pitch, and you'll probably already see the standout name there. But we've sold 2.3 million's worth of players and released a few as well. So if we look at the released players, this is the work Dougie's been doing over the summer to reduce the squad. We've got Lukas Jutkovic, who was a backup striker, Jack Walton, who was the 3rd choice keeper, Ryan Barrett I haven't heard of, he must have been out on loan last year, and then just an assortment of youth players, plus this guy here, Okoroji I think that is, he's a young left back who was doing okay, but as you can see by who he's joined and his attributes, he wasn't quite going to make it. But looking at the players he's let go from the club, it's a much longer list. Lots of little deals adding up for backup players or players who were out on loan last year, and probably only 1 or 2 I'm actually upset about leaving. So Ethan Pinnock had already been pre-agreed, it was part of a transfer clause in his loan deal. Josh Pask was playing for us at the end of last season, so I was very surprised when he sold him for 300 grand early in the window. And to be honest, we still haven't bought in any better centre-half since, so we're slightly weaker in that position if anything. A shame he's gone, but he had a release clause of around 700,000, so I can understand why he was gone for that, as that includes a sell-on clause. Brad Potts was out on loan last year, we got 300 grand for him. Graham Burke we were looking desperately to sell, the same for him too. 16 grand for Isaac Vassell, a former Luton player who came back from loan, and at 29 years of age, he's not got much to him, but he should really be worth more than 16 grand. We've loaned out loads of youngsters. Declan John was already pre-agreed. Amir Berkovic we've sent out again. And then Scott Malone, last season starting left back, has gone for 800 grand. And that's because he signed about 3 or 4 in replacement. He's 32 and probably didn't have much good football left in him. But on the inside, we've got pretty much what we asked for, to be honest. We said to Dougie Freedman, we've got some brilliant young players at the club. The youth intakes have been great over the last few years, and we've got a really young, talented core who can grow into key players at the club. But can we get some experience to go alongside them so they're not always bottling the big games, and they've got some players to lean on should there be a difficult circumstance in the match? Now, I'm not too sure about some of the characters he's brought in, but he certainly fit the criteria for experienced players. If we look first at Charlie Taylor, the first signing of the window, and I'd argue probably the best. The big money one, 2.7 million with future rising clauses. He is 29 in his peak, but he's a fantastic left back. Did really well at Leeds back in the day. Joined Burnley in real life a couple of years ago, and you can see since he's played for the likes of Palace, Udinese, Aston Villa and Blackburn. So a really good Championship left back, and certainly an upgrade on Malone. We're looking forward to him playing for us, and he's someone with a decent personality who I hope will do well. I think he's the highest paid player at the club, but he probably deserves it in truth. Next along the line is Adam Reach, an experienced 30-year-old now, playing in front of Charlie Taylor as our left midfielder. He's one who scores spectacular goals for fun in real life, so I'm hoping he'll do the same for us on here. But he's extremely versatile, natural on the left and in the middle of midfield, and can also cover a left back, left wing, centre half and hold in midfield. So you couldn't ask for much more here. We've not got quite as big a squad as last year, but we've got a much more versatile one. Moving on, we've got a couple of youngsters our head of youth development brought in. Matthew Casey, 1.5 star. We've loaned him out already, he wasn't great. And the same for Ben Clark-Eden. He's a 2-star ability defender. He's gone to Boreham Wood, and I think he'll struggle to make it too. And here comes the big surprise. 32-year-old Mario Balotelli. You should have seen my face drop when this one came about. Another one who doesn't mind scoring a special goal, but his personality's going to be interesting. Has no work rate, has no pace, no team ethic. It's going to be an interesting year. He does score some great goals, and technically he's the best player at the club by far. So hopefully he can make an early impact off the bench, and we'll try and start him in those games we expect to win, although there aren't too many of them at this level for us. A really good finisher though, and a quality penalty taker, so I'm really excited about him being here, and it's only on a 1-year deal, so hopefully it won't go too wrong. Then we've got a player who's a bit of a cross-series man. He's currently at Torquay in our other series, and now he's here at Barnsley, so we're managing him in 2 alternate universes, but he is a far superior player in this one. Adam Lewis, a natural left wing back, again a really versatile player like Adam Reach. 3.5 star ability, 4.5 potential on here, and he's just absolutely brilliant. It's really difficult for us because we've been overloaded with left-sided players. So we've now got Adam Reach and Charlie Taylor, who would naturally be first choice. We've got this guy, Adam Lewis, and we haven't even met another left-back who's 3.5 stars yet. So we've got some really quality players, and I'm not quite sure how to fit them all in. When you consider how weak we are in comparison on the right, it's a little bit of a shame, really. But at 23, this guy could be brilliant, and he's only on 7.5 grand a week, so we might try and get him in the side. Next along is Ethan Laird, a backup right back. We needed one. It's an easy loan from the parent club. Only 2.5 star, but he's got big potential, and he's also versatile, playing anywhere along the back. He'll be behind the likes of Burton and Jackson, our homegrown players, as well as a couple of the other regular players, but he's our only alternative to our Swiss right back at the minute, Joel, so it might be a bit of a struggle on that side of the pitch. Last but not least is yet another left back. Loan fee from Bristol City for Lloyd Kelly. What a player he is, 24 years of age, a current under-21 international for England in real life, 3.5 star ability, 4.5 potential. He looks an absolute cracker again, but he just misses out to Charlie Taylor. He's probably one of the best 5 players at the club, but unfortunately one of the 4 that are better than him happen to play in the same position. So a very difficult one for us, but we really need to strengthen the other side of the pitch, as well as central midfield, where we've lost a couple of players. So if we go and have a look at our squad overall, it's not as big as it was last year, but we have still got plenty of quality there. The one thing I would say in terms of loans that we haven't mentioned, Lewis Ingram, the centre-half, he stayed for another year. £550 a week we're contributing. That's brilliant work by Dougie Freedman. And the other one is Nigel Armstrong. He's the right winger we had last year. Playing with wingers this season, he could be more important. £600 a week for a 3.5 star right winger. And it gives us the option to move Juninho Bacuna into the middle of midfield, where we're a little bit short at present. So really good summer overall. We've just got a couple of bits that I hope we do before the end. We did nearly accept an offer for Joe Lumley. The director of football was rejecting it and setting an asking price, but it was only just below being met, and he's still got a release clause that could be reached during this window. If we lose him, I'll suddenly change my optimism, as our backup keeper Allsop's nowhere near as good. But we've kept hold of all of our young prospects. We've introduced another one to the first team, Martin O'Neill. He's a right winger as well, 2-star ability, 5-star potential, was out on loan at Coventry in the previous season, so we want to give him an opportunity in some of the cup games and hopefully he'll do well. But a really good side we've got, and I'm hoping we can comfortably beat our pre-season targets, which are to finish in mid-table. We're also expected to go on little cup runs, so we've got to win 1 round in the FA Cup and we've got to win 2 in the League Cup. But the Championship is just about mid-table. They offered us avoid relegation, but with the summer transfers and the money still left, I think we'll be able to do alright. I hope I won't regret that, but we'll soon find out after we've played our first game of the season. We're away to promotion chasing West Brom, so it's not going to be the best barometer of how our season's going to go, but most of the rest of the month's at home, so that'll probably give us an indication. So once we come back for episode 2, which I think will probably be Crystal Palace looking at it, that's when we want to see just how far down the line we've come from last year. We want to implement our style of play, and we want to give ourselves the best possible opportunity of surprising a few teams in the league. So let's get into the first game of the season. We'll go and have a look and see if we're favourites, and then we'll have some news from the lineup and the tactics that we're working on this year. So away to West Brom, they're favourites as you might expect, and we're probably not going to get a result. A couple of injuries on each side. We're missing Armstrong, our first choice right winger, one of our young centre halves, and Kenneth Dougal had that long-term injury last year. I think Dougie Freedman's trying to sell him, but he's not been able to get any offers so far. Let's have a look at the lineup then. We've gone back to our classic 4-4-2 for the start of this year, just because we're a bit short in midfield and can't really play with 3 or 4 men in there. The long-term goal was to play a 4-5-1, but obviously the signing of Balotelli, giving us 3 brilliant strikers, has made it very hard to play a 1 up front. Keenan Davis is still here as the 4th choice, but it's nice to have a little bit of depth beyond the bench with quality across the board. We've got youth, we've got experience, and although we're not expecting to challenge for promotion this year, we should be completely comfortable. I've got to the first club in this series where I feel like they're not at their potential and we can gradually build them to something special. So as long as things keep going okay, we won't be looking for any new jobs. We'll only be jumping ship if we get offered an opportunity that's far too good to turn down. Mario Balotelli's probably going to be more for use at home because away we need to get a target man in there and we need to have someone running in behind. Balotelli's the man who finds space and does that something special when they've got 10 men behind the ball. So our lineup for today isn't too different to last year. We're a little bit weaker at centre half and central midfield, but we're much stronger down the sides. We've still got our 3 youth prospects at the club. Jackson's just back from injury and not quite fit yet. If we go to our selection info, he's going to play tomorrow in an under-23s game. And then we've got a Carabao Cup game in 10 days' time. Lloyd Kelly only joined the club 2 days ago, so we're not going to rush him either. The likes of Van Lerberger, Scully, Thiam and Balotelli are on the bench. But our line-up for today is Joe Lumley in goal, Joel and Taylor are the fullbacks with Lindsay and Ingram in the middle, Bakuna's on the right wing with Adam Reach on the left, Goodwin still in the middle with Adam Mowat. He's signed another extension which removes his release clause. Dougie Freedman's done a great job there. Adam Mowat joins him if I haven't mentioned it already. And Woodrow and Adebayo continue from last year up front, but we've obviously got Balotelli as an option. In terms of tactics, we're sticking to a balanced mentality. We want to get the ball wide where possible. It's where most of our talent is, so we're going to play very wide, have attacking fullbacks, and then sit our 2 centre-halves very deep. We're going to go slightly more direct with a higher tempo. We want the lads to be disciplined because we need to get those 2 banks of 4 when we lose it. And as a result, when we lose the ball, you can see that we've been asked to regroup. However, when we win it again, we're going to distribute it quickly to the fullbacks and then counter down the wings at speed. That's the plan anyway. Out of possession, we're a little bit deeper, a lower line of engagement and a lower defensive line. I'm mainly thinking for when Balotelli's playing, we don't want one striker just chasing across the board because he's certainly not going to do it. We are still trying to prevent the short goalkeeper distribution, but I'll wait and see if that works once Balotelli comes on. As usual, usual for my teams, we never get stuck in. We're staying on our feet. If you have to slide into a challenge, you're obviously not a good enough defender because you can't keep your positioning. So that's my theory on the game. The two wingers aren't particularly familiar with this tactic, mainly because we only decided it once Balotelli joined. So we've only been working for 3 weeks and that might cost us today. But we're going to get into the first game and fingers crossed we can get a result. Well, here's something you don't see too often in the top 2 tiers of English football. Both sides playing a 4-4-2. West Brom are at home and still have some of the big names. Young Oliver Burke normally develops into a good player on this game. Bittencourt, the former Dortmund youngster. Josh King up front, Livermore in the middle. This is going to be a very tough game. They've got Ben Gibson at centre-half as well. Let's see if we can pull off a shock then. What should we tell the lads? Winkler tells us to tell them nothing. We're going to ask them to show what they're capable of. Nice and assertively. Go on lads, let's go and have it. We'll start with the kick-off and fingers crossed the season starts well. A very big crowd for West Brom and they've got the kick-off too. Gibson, the centre-half, finds Vegas. Long ball over the top which Lindsay, our captain, heads away. Bruisman goes long but Joel intercepts. Bakuna's charging into the second half. I don't know why I said second half there. He's charging into the opposition half. For the highlight ends and it's still 0-0. Livermore's got the ball 30 yards out. Good save by Lumley. Seemed to caught him out there to swerve in the air, but he managed to get a finger on it and get it wide for a corner. Bittencourt delivers it, an in-swinger. Burke at the back post, straight at Lumley though, but the first couple of shots of the game to West Brom. A couple of minutes gone and it's looked dangerous so far. Messina going down the left-hand side to Bittencourt. It seems like being balanced might have been a bit difficult in this one. We might need to drop to counter as we go on, but for now we're just going to see how it plays. It's about learning this game. We're expecting to lose it anyway. It's just about working out how good our players are. But Mauert's found Woodrow. He's in one-on-one. It was a great ball, but Woodrow didn't have the pace and tried to shoot from just outside the box. As a result, it went comfortably wide, and now West Brom are on the attack again from the goal kick. Burke's done the whole team and puts it in the bottom corner. And that's the difference in quality. Woodrow hasn't got the pace, tries to shoot from distance and it's wide, and then Burke's got the pace, beats our defence, turned our skipper Lindsay inside out, and then put it into the bottom corner. He's got the ball again on the right-hand side. He always becomes so good in this game, and unfortunately we just can't handle the pace. Here he goes again. He's beaten 2, he's beaten 3, finds Bittencourt, it deflects off Ingram and it's behind for a corner, but this is certainly going to be back to the drawing board after this one. We've had more possession so far, but we've done nothing with it. They've shot from the edge again, and a second great goal of the game. West Brom scored 2 in 7 minutes, and we're going to get mad already. I can't believe it started this badly, and again it's the long distance goals that are killing us. It's happened since the update, and we just can't handle it. Livermore there, look at that. Jake Livermore, I'm not going to be rude, but he cannot do that in a million years. There is no way he would score a goal like that. Bittencourt with a corner, Taylor heads away. We've got to remember with a lot of new players, we are going to have to gel a bit first. But again, another screamer on target. Bittencourt delivers, it's cleared away by Mauert, and now Bakuna's coming up towards halfway. He finds Corley Woodrow. Woodrow with a switch of play to Adam Reach. Beats his man to it, it's got the 30 yards out. He knows a spectacular goal. But Goodwin gets it out to Taylor, and it's a terrible cross, which is deflected straight back to the West Brom defence. We've got a warning to close people down. Little bit late now, don't you think? The assistant manager being a bit slow there with his tactical instructions. Messina delivers to Josh King, heads it just wide, and this game's pretty much over. We are being outclassed. Let's go back to cautious, just so we don't get embarrassed, and hopefully we can then counter them. It's Charlie Taylor. He's lost it at left back again. He's had an awful game so far. For the best player at the club, it doesn't seem like he wants to be here. Jake Livermore's got the ball to Bittencourt. Oh, that's ridiculous. Did you see the curl on that? 25 yards out. It looked like a cross that was aimed for the back of the penalty area, and he just curled in and hit the post. The keeper had no idea what was going on. That is getting a little bit silly. Nearly half an hour gone. Can we finally create an attack? It's Charlie Taylor again. Finds Goodwin the youngster. Mauert out to Reach. Over halfway. He goes really long towards Woodrow, but it's straight at Messina who heads away. I'm not quite sure what they're doing here. I haven't asked them to hoof it long into space. Slightly more direct passing, but I didn't ask them to pass it into space. I said very much to feet. Adebayo finds Charlie Taylor, and the highlight ends. It remains 2-0, and I don't really know what to do here. It's a throw on the right. It's Joel who takes it. He just throws it back to Bittencourt. I have no idea what's going on here. I know the team cohesion isn't great, as we've got a few new signings in the squad, but in the first team there's not many, and there aren't any at the back bar the left-sider, and the two centre-halves should have played together before, so how they've let Josh King run in and tap that in, I have absolutely no idea. I don't know what to do with this side. They're so good on paper, and they just don't ever deliver. And I really wish I'd gone to Luton Town now, because I could have built my own club. But we've got to stick it out. Adebayo Ajo's got the ball, and he's going to find Cauley Woodrow. Back to Goodwin. He finds Mowat. Can we finally get some concerted pressure? He goes over the top, but it's aimless again. We're going to take off the direct passing, because it's just going to encourage them to go long. Even though we're saying we want to play to feet, they're not really doing it. If we take that off, we're forcing their hand to find a pass. Charlie Taylor gets it to Goodwin again. He goes back to Taylor and now Reach. Into Goodwin. Mowat. Goodwin's been one of the positives in the game so far. I think he's our best rated outfield player bar Mowat. He's got the ball again to Bakuna. He's charging inside to Woodrow. Out to Joel. We're playing some nice football, but the final product isn't there until that time. Joel finds Adebayo Ajo's head and he puts it into the corner. 3-1 at the break, and we are going to change our tactical instructions. Bittencourt with a corner. Finds Vegas at the back post. He's unmarked. Even when we've scored in stoppage time of the first half, we've managed to concede again. I spent 20 minutes going through our tactical instructions from corners to make sure we had 7 players marking, and there is absolutely no one there as Vegas has 5 yards of space at the back post. This game really frustrates me sometimes. I don't quite know what to do. I guess it's realistic that your players won't follow instructions, but we've got a lot of work to do if we're going to achieve anything this season. We didn't expect to win this game, but we've been absolutely embarrassing. We're going to absolutely dig into them in this half. Winkler needs to be more angry than that. Aggressive is terrible. Get on with it and produce something a bit better. There's so many poor performers there. I don't know what I can do with 3 subs. I'd like to take 5 or 6 of them off. Mario Balotelli will get a debut, as will young Adam Lewis. Are there any others we can give a debut to on the bench? There aren't, so probably young Alex Jackson will get some fitness. Vegas has won another header at the back post. Absolutely ridiculous. The marking from corners has been atrocious. They're coming forward again with Messina. Goodwin gets the ball back, and after all that optimism at the start of the season, look what's happened now. Adebayo Ajo's in behind 1-1, and he decides to hit it straight at the keeper's hands to make sure he doesn't score. Charlie Taylor with an outswinging corner. Lindsay wins the header at the back post. It seems like the defensive team just can't win a header from a corner. They've got a goal kick and they've gone long up towards Burke. The 2 midfielders have decided not to go anywhere near him. Burke slides it into King, who's got space in the box, and he shoots straight at Lumley. I don't know if you can tell, but I am very, very unhappy and not in the best of moods at this performance so far. Adam Reach is coming off. He's had a shocking debut. Adam Lewis will come on for him, the youngster. Cauley Woodrow off. Instead of having a target man, we're going to go for Balotelli as his preferred deep lying forward. He prefers the support duty. I don't know what the difference is. Let's have a read of them. I can't see him attacking the box from deep. He wants to make his own chances. We're going to put him on attack, see if he can score some long shots. What else have we got that we can do? Not a great deal in honesty. I'm going to bring Alex Jackson on for Ingram. He probably would be our first choice in the season. It's just that he's not fit. So our first choice defence, and hopefully they'll gel a bit better than Ingram did. We've got a throw on the right hand side. Joel throws it in. Balotelli knocks it down for Alex Mowat. The shot's blocked and it's cleared. Lindsay heads away and they were straight on to counter us. Thankfully the highlight ends and now it's Joel with another long throw. Mowat on the edge of the box again. Falls for Adam Lewis on his debut with a good strike. But again it's straight at the keeper and he tips it behind for a corner kick. Charlie Taylor will take it. Delivers to the back post. Passes absolutely everyone. Awful corner, and it's straight out for a throw-in on the far side. I'm really not pleased with him. This has been a really poor performance. I was so optimistic throughout the summer. Adebayo Ajo scored another header from the corner. Defending set pieces is definitely an issue for both sides, but unfortunately, they've managed to score a few from open play as well. We've got another corner with Taylor. Can we score from a third one? Adebayo Ajo loses out this time. Gibson clears it to Bittencourt. And every time they come forward, they look like scoring. Tulloch's in 1-on-1. He puts it just wide. But he was completely unopposed again, despite our pressing system. 10 minutes to go. We trail 4-2. And we're probably lucky there's only a 2-goal difference. 5 minutes to go, Joel with a free kick. We could still produce a grandstand finish here. Bakuna on the right finds Mowat. Back to Joel. Mowat again to Goodwin. Good win into Mowat. We're just keeping the ball between them. Joel decides to kick it straight at a West Brom midfielder. Jackson does well to beat the sliding challenge. The two youngsters have certainly been among the bright lights. Mowat with a brilliant ball out to Lewis on the left, into Adebayo, and his header saved smartly down to his right by the West Brom keeper. Joel with a throw-in. He finds Mowat. Back to Joel again. Can we work the line? We've got 4 minutes to get 2 goals, but if we can get one, we'd start to scare them. Bacuna switches it out to Lewis. He's certainly made an impact since he came on. He finds Goodwin and Mowat in the middle. Them two have been brilliant in this game. They find Bacuna into the striker, but it's a poor under-hit pass, and Mario Balotelli's never going to thunder into a 50-50. Here comes Bittencourt on the counter. He finds Benzia. He's scored at least one today. It's Livermore to Bittencourt. Into the striker again. Tulloch turns his man on the edge. The shot's blocked and Tardy Taylor all clear. It's not enough though, and going into stoppage time we're going to lose. We're going to go to attack just in case, but I think we'll probably concede a 5th before we see that change. Tulloch finds Livermore. He shoots from 30 yards and again just wide of the post. I was so optimistic after the transfer window. It's just not quite come together. It may take a few games to gel, but it seems the type of goals we're conceding are the ones we've worked the hardest on. And just as we go to finish the game, Livermore nearly scores another goal defending a corner. We're not good enough at the back there, and to be fair, we've lost one of our best 2 centre-halves and not replaced him, and we've lost one of our best 2 central midfielders and not replaced him either. They did try to sign James Garner, who we had on loan last year, but he rejected us for Hull City. Andreas Winkler wants to tell the boys it was excellent. We're going to do it, but I mean, that's a barometer of what this club's ambitions are at the minute. Maybe Winkler's part of the problem. He's just got such low expectations, and we really need to try and improve that. It seems there were a lot of spankings on the first few days of the season, as we're not even in the bottom 6 after that result. Sheffield Wednesday and Pompey both lost by 5, but I'm hoping Dougie Freedman will produce some fireworks. He's got £7.5 million left to spend, don't forget. Don't be greedy and save it for the club. Make us a better squad. Let's look at what the media said about the game. West Brom eased to victory. And here comes the negative side of the head coach as well. People talking about our spending when we've got nothing to do with it. I wish you could get across in Football Manager that it's your director of football who's in charge of the transfers. It happens at so many clubs in real life, and there's always that debate about, well, they're not the manager's players, but you can't seem to have that in this game. But it is the first game of the season. We do need to remain positive. We've got a chance to build something here. If we can keep the club out of trouble, we've had a good season. Lower mid-table, such as 17th, is exactly what's expected, so that's what we've got to try and achieve. Taylor made his debut, as did Lewis and Balotelli, but unfortunately there were some disappointing performances. We're going to praise Adebayo for his brilliant work in front of goal. 2 goals for him, and he was one of the shining lights of the team. We'll do our post-match interview in a moment, but let's go and look at when we'll next be back. We've highlighted the Crystal Palace game, and unless we get a massive Carabao Cup tie, I think that'll probably be the case. And if you did enjoy this episode, please put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments what you think of Dougie Freedman's signings. Where do you think we're short? Do you agree with me? Is it just the central midfielder and centre-half, where we haven't got Pascal Garner anymore? Or am I overrating our side? Do we have bigger problems than that? As always with the first episode of the season, get your predictions in early. Where do you think we're going to finish? And do you think we'll stay at Barnsley for the season? Or will we get sacked or overachieve and get a bigger offer? Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from my 2 long-term stories, this one The Head Coach, and our other series Part of the Furniture with Torquay United. As we mentioned briefly already, season 6 of that series started yesterday, so if you haven't seen any of that one yet, now's the perfect time to go and catch up. But a massive thanks for watching this one as always, and we'll see you next time, where we'll hopefully be faring a little bit better.